Now at 9, it's the last day of 2023, and folks in Miami, Oklahoma are celebrating the new year at a global party. Plus, disc golf players come together for a New Year's Eve tournament in Cherryville. And
Times Square getting ready to kick off 2024 with a bang tonight. I'm Mallory Rivera in New York with more on the celebration coming up.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
this is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Elise Snowy. We're just hours away from ringing in the new year, and the four states are celebrating the last day of 2023. JJ Lanes in Miami today rang in the new year with a global party. It included bowling for $2 per person with half-off shoe rentals. Attendees were also entered into a giveaway for special New Year packages and prizes.
I knew that the kids would like the glow part of it, but mostly I'm really thankful that they put this here for the kids because there wasn't a lot to do, especially inside things for the winter time.
The packages included free bowling sessions and concessions. Big Hill Disc Golf Course in Cherryville, Kansas celebrated the last day of 2023 with a New Year's Eve golf tournament. Disc golf players were invited to come and play the 18-hole course this afternoon.
Competition's good. I'm not playing well.
Yeah, it's cold, it's windy, but like I said, we're just out here to have a good time. We still play by the sanctioned rules today, but we're really just out here to have fun.
There were around 15 players at today's tournament, though they had a lower turnout due to lower temperatures. Chris Warner joins us with the first look at weather.
Now, we had ourselves a cloudy day across the area for the last day of 2023. Taking a look outside earlier today from our camera on top of the Cornell Complex in downtown Joplin. It was breezy, it was cloudy, it was cold, it was just blah. And the Skywatch Storm Tracker showing all of those clouds across the area. And we had a light breeze too, occasional gusts out there making it feel even colder. Started the day on Saturday at 25, so right about where we should be. Made it up to 51. So we made it 6 degrees warmer than where we should be. Our average is about 45-ish. We're going to be close to that, a little colder over the next couple of days. And of course, tonight is New Year's, and if you're celebrating later this evening, be prepared for a cold one. Cloudy skies, winds calm down a bit, and temperature is going to be chilly back into the low 20s. We'll have a complete look at your forecast, including the first week of 2024, here in just a few more minutes.
All right, Chris, we'll see you soon. Well, in just a few short hours, we will be flipping the calendar to 2024. Officials in Times Square are ready to go when the clock strikes midnight. That's where we find Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera with the latest on the preparations.
We officially say goodbye to 2023 tonight, and hundreds of thousands of people are gathered in Times Square to watch the iconic ball drop and say hello to 2024. The New York Police Department is also out in full force to make this event fun and safe. They say there are no credible threats to tonight's festivities, but are still lining the area with officers and rolling out all of their tools.
We have a solid perimeter built around us. We're using our counterterrorism assets, our special operations, our aviation, our canines. We're pulling out all the stops like we do every year to make this a safe party and bring in 2024 on a right note.
And after recent protests in the city related to the Israel-Hamas war, the mayor says they are doing everything they can to ensure those demonstrations won't cause any disruptions.
The New York City Police Department did an amazing job during the tree lighting with individuals trying to disrupt the tree lighting. They executed a well thought out plan, and they're going to do so this time as well.
Officials tested out the ball yesterday. No issues there, and it's ready to sparkle and shine. This year's ball incorporates a bow tie design, a callback to when Times Square used to be nicknamed the bow tie. It will start its 60-second drop at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time, finishing the drop at midnight to officially ring in the start of 2024. Times Square hosts one of the country's biggest New Year's Eve celebrations. The tradition began in 1904, but the first ball wasn't dropped until 1907. In New York, Mallory Rivera, Fox News.
Wallet Hub releasing their list of the top 10 places to celebrate New Year's Eve this year. On the top of the list is sunny Orlando, Florida, followed by San Diego, New York City, Las Vegas, and Atlanta, Georgia to round out the top 5. Miami, LA, Chicago, Denver, and Washington, D.C. are also listed in the top 10. Wallet Hub says they made their choices based on entertainment, food, safety, cost, and accessibility. It might not be too late to plan your trip to any one of these locations before the clock winds down on 2023 tonight at midnight. A new year means better income for some thanks to laws taking effect January 1st. New minimum wage laws beginning in the new year will give higher pay to workers in 22 states. About 9.9 million workers will get the wage hikes according to the Economic Policy Institute. The new minimum wages taking effect next year range from Alaska's $11.73 per hour to Washington's $16.28 per hour. 12 of those states have adjusted their minimum wages rates to account for inflation. 3 states, Florida, Nevada, and Oregon, will raise their minimum wages later in the year. Later, health experts are warning about the potential risks that popular weight loss drugs can have on your health. A health problem for some seniors. Obesity is facing new challenges in coverage under Medicare. New obesity drugs are showing some results in helping people lose weight, but millions of older Americans won't get the chance to test it out. That is because Medicare is prohibited to cover those medications. Some drug manufacturers and lawmakers want to change next year. A new class of drugs have been approved in recent years to help people lose up to 25% of their weight. But some of those drugs can range from $1,000 to $1,300 a month. New weight loss drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy are becoming more popular among people with diabetes or those struggling with their weight. But Fox's Brian Webb talks about one patient who, after using Ozempic for diabetes, ended up in the ER. Now he and even health experts are warning about the potential risks these drugs can have on your health.
Dave Wilhelmi has been battling type 2 diabetes for 10 years, and his doctor thought the new med on the block, Ozempic, might help, along with 2 other diabetes drugs.
Blood sugars, my A1C, were a little bit high, and so this would be a better way to control my type 2 diabetes.
But after a few months on Ozempic and increasingly higher doses, the trouble started, and it was time to get to the ER.
They confirmed what I kind of suspected was I was severely dehydrated, and that can happen when you take some of these drugs.
Dave is not alone. Poison control centers across the country are seeing a spike in calls connected to these drugs.
Over the last couple of years, we've seen a doubling in the numbers of calls reported to our center.
Dr. Kuhn says the most issues come from a high dose or improper use.
You know, when we see patients taking the higher dose, or if they accidentally or inadvertently take a double dose or some sort of a dose in their medication, these otherwise tolerable and self-limiting symptoms can be quite uncomfortable and potentially harmful.
Dave's 3-day hospital stay came after a bad reaction with one of the other diabetes drugs, according to his doctor. Now back at home and on the mend, Dave has a warning for other Ozempic users.
If you wait too long, it could be fatal. I was lucky.
According to a report, U.S. officials are seizing unauthorized electronic cigarettes as more of it keeps illegally entering the country. A report says shipments of the contraband are being captured at U.S. ports. Government and industry data show new flavored electronic cigarettes continue to pour in from China. According to sales data, the new products are mostly disposable e-cigarettes, and they generated more than $3 billion in sales in the first 11 months of 2023. The Food and Drug Administration allows for the sale of several e-cigarettes, but is reviewing the product from other companies, which is considered by regulators to be illegal. Chris is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, as the holiday season comes to an end, shoppers are heading back to stores to return their gifts. And those returns after the holidays are becoming a headache for some companies.
Welcome back. After a cloudy and cold day, that's how we're wrapping up 2023 here in the 4 states. At least it feels like winter and everything else out there, and it's going to feel like January come tomorrow. Skywatch Storm Tracker earlier today showing us all of those clouds, some of them relatively thick at times out there, so no sunshine, and that kept our temperatures relatively cold. In fact, we were upwards of 20 some odd degrees colder today than we were yesterday, as we mentioned earlier. We made it into the low 50s. Today, we're not going to make it out of the mid 30s. And we've got the cloud cover across the area, and that will eventually begin to clear out later tonight into early tomorrow morning. So initially, we'll be mostly cloudy through the evening as you kick off 2024, but by sunrise tomorrow, we'll start to see some clearing out there. Still partly to mostly cloudy skies, and temperatures cold for sure, but that's the thing on the future track, no precipitation to show us, just the occasional cloud cover. Now, we're going to be a bit sunnier for us on our Monday across the area, and temperatures will be a little bit better, a little closer to average, but still not too terribly warm. We'll again have a few passing clouds here and there as we go into our Tuesday. Another cold one Monday night for us, but as we head into our Tuesday, we will eventually start to warm up just a little bit. MoDOT camera I-44 and range line earlier today. Again, cloudy skies out there, but at least the roads are dry if you're traveling or doing anything like that for New Year's Eve tonight. And of course, make sure you do so safely as you ring in the new year. Again, our camera on the Cornell complex earlier showing the cloudy skies, breezy conditions, and same from the KDOT camera this afternoon as well, just south of Pittsburgh. So for tonight, again, low 20s out there, gradually clearing, and even with a light north breeze, we're still going to have those wind chills falling back into the teens. So if you are celebrating tonight, make sure you bundle up because it is going to be cold. Not a lot of warming taking place tomorrow, but we will eventually get a little more sunshine, holding on to north breeze at 5 to 10 as our highs go into the upper 30s. Monday night, we're looking a little bit better, a little closer to normal again, 30, in fact, a little above normal. Mostly clear skies, and the wind shifts out of the south on us after it calms down a bit, starts going at about 5 to 10 miles an hour, and that's what's going to help bring in slightly warmer temperatures as we head through the rest of the first week of 2024. 45 for us on Tuesday, mostly clear skies out there, southwest breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. And as we go through that first week of 2024, this is what we're looking at. Again, we're talking Monday, Tuesday, looking pretty good. In fact, we're going to have mostly sunny skies, it's looking like, through at least Thursday. Temperatures not too bad, right about where they should be as we hang out in the mid 40s. Overnight lows a little milder than where they should be, not that anyone's complaining. Friday we start to see an increase in clouds, and we could see a few showers in the morning by next Saturday, but take a look at those temperatures as they go back up near 50 degrees by next Saturday, so it's going to feel like shorts weather by next weekend. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, the dreaded day is coming soon when you say goodbye to your favorite Christmas symbol. So when exactly is the best time to take down your Christmas tree? Well, reports say about 20% of Americans hurry up and take the tree down by the end of December. One survey says 84% of Americans take it down in January. And experts say if you have a real tree, take it down when it's too dry, and do so by local recycling deadlines. Don't leave your tree curbside for regular trash. Don't burn it in your fireplace, and try to have it mulched or used for birds as shelter. Coming up, more weapons for Israel.
The Biden administration is rushing more weapons to Israel and going around Congress once again to do it. I'm Lucas Tomlinson, traveling with the president in St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands. I'll have the details coming up.
Consumers are beginning to tighten their belts, and that's translating into lower prices. Business analysts say FedEx and Target are among many corporations which have cut their sales outlooks as consumer demand has slacked off. Airlines have also been slashing their off-peak fares. This is a significant change. Consumers had been spending money at a breakneck pace, raising corporate revenues, but the opposite is happening now as shoppers appear to be more careful with their money. Product returns after the holidays are becoming a headache for companies. Data from return service provider Optoro predicts that consumers will bring back $173 billion of products from Thanksgiving to January of 2024. But a Wall Street Journal report says returns are creating more than just a loss in profit margins for some businesses. Companies have to determine whether returns will go back on the shelves. Well, Colorado says goodbye to plastic bags for the new year. Fox's Carly Moore has more on what that means for businesses and consumers.
Since the start of 2023, Coloradans have been paying 10 cents per plastic bag.
I think it's behavioral change, to get people used to bringing their own bags.
Now, in the start of the new year, plastic bags will be banned altogether, offering customers to buy a paper bag for 10 cents instead.
The whole purpose in Colorado is, plastic bags end up, they fly in the air and then they can end up in streams, and then the plastic releases chemicals, which is bad for the rivers, estuaries, whatever.
Dr. Jack Buffington, a professor and program director of supply chain management at DU, said it's a small change.
You have 20 items that are in plastic containers, single-use plastic containers, and all you're doing now is reducing the bag that you put them in. So, from an environmental impact, it's smaller, but it's a step in the right direction.
Another part of this law bans restaurants from giving out styrofoam containers for ready-to-eat food. Buffington said styrofoam was a huge lifeline for restaurants trying to survive through the pandemic, offering to-go meals.
The problem with these opportunities is that they're all incremental benefits. Like to get the ones that are, if we really want to make a big difference on the environment, these are more difficult choices. And the only way we can make them is not by using red lights, but by using green lights.
Places that don't follow the rules will be fined, but he wishes the law focused more on rewarding creative solutions.
Instead of punitive measures, let's incentivize new solutions that really make a bigger difference.
The world's population is widening as we approach the new year. We'll check out 2023's population growth up next. The world's population is widening as we approach the new year. The U.S. Census Bureau says the world population grew by 75 million people in 2023. And by New Year's Day, it will reach more than 8 billion people. The world growth rate is just under 1%, according to the latest numbers released Thursday. In just the U.S., 1.7 million people were born, putting the country's population on January 1st at 338.8 million people. Overall, the current pace of growth in the 2020s is on track to be one of the slowest growing decades in U.S. history. Right now, the slowest growing decade stands in at the 1930s, right after the Great Depression, when the growth rate was 7.3%. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports is coming your way. Coming up, hundreds gather in Tel Aviv to protest the Israeli government as the U.S. sends more weapons to Israel. A decision by the Maine Secretary of State to ban former President Donald Trump from the ballot in the next presidential race is getting pushback. The ruling came on the heels of a similar decision in Colorado that potentially could keep the former chief executive from returning to the White House. Fox News correspondent Alexandria Hoff has more from Washington.
The Trump legal team has their sights on Tuesday to appeal the ballot decisions in Colorado and Maine. Right now, there are 13 states with pending action to bar Trump from the ballot. The lawsuits are using a Civil War-era clause in the Constitution that bans a person involved in an insurrection from holding public office. What makes the decision out of Maine unique is that this is the first state where the Secretary of State, Shanna Bellows, took action unilaterally, as opposed to Colorado, where the decision came from the state Supreme Court. Here's how Bellows responded to criticism over the solo judgment.
Every elected official swears an oath to the Constitution. I swore an oath to the Maine Constitution and the United States Constitution. And Maine election law requires me to hold a hearing of this sort.
Bellows, a Democrat, has suspended her decision pending the expected appeal from the Trump team. In Colorado, Trump's name will appear on the primary ballot unless the Supreme Court sides with the state Supreme Court's decision to kick him off. Fox News contributor Professor Jonathan Turley sees that as unlikely.
I do believe that the Supreme Court will reject this pernicious theory. I think that the court will see this for what it is, which is a distinctly anti-democratic effort to win this election in the courts rather than polling places.
The GOP frontrunner's name is on California's ballot. Secretary of State Shirley Weber declined efforts to have it removed, telling the LA Times, quote, "I have to basically continue to abide by the rule of law. And for me not to do that, then I'm no better than Trump." And when you look at a state like Maine, it went for Biden in 2020, but it's one of two states that splits its electoral votes. And last election, Trump earned one of Maine's 4. In Washington, Alexandra Rehoff, Fox News.
A record number of Americans have signed up for Obamacare in 2024. The Department of Health and Human Services says it expects 19 million people will sign up for health care coverage by the January 16th deadline. Already a record 15 million people have enrolled through the Affordable Care Act marketplace as of December 15th. That's a 33% jump from 11 million people over the same time last year. The marketplace open enrollment periods on healthcare.gov run from November 1st until midnight Tuesday, January 16th. Fighting continues in the Middle East, where the war is pushing deeper into central and southern Gaza. This as the Biden administration is bypassing Congress to approve an emergency weapons sale to Israel. Fox News correspondent Lucas Tomlinson has the details.
Israel continues to expand its war in Gaza as tens of thousands of displaced Palestinians are forced to relocate to crowded refugee camps in the southern end of the Strip. There's now a growing fear among the homeless that there is no safe zone and simply nowhere else to go. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu cautioning the conflict is far from ending despite diplomatic efforts.
We are fighting on all fronts. We have great successes, but we also have painful prices. Achieving victory requires more time. As the Chief of Staff said this week, the war will continue for many more months.
Israel has embarked on a new air and land campaign in the Gaza Strip's main southern city. The Israeli defense minister saying, quote, "At this time we are focused on the Khan Yunis area. Our achievements and terror targets are precise." Meanwhile, hundreds of protesters have poured into Tel Aviv to rally against the Netanyahu government. They're calling for immediate elections over the management of the ongoing war and the failure to secure the release of the more than 100 remaining hostages.
These are people who are living in their homes just as you and I were on October 7th, and we all have a responsibility to bring them back, especially the people who have the most influence over the situation.
For the second time this month, the Biden administration has bypassed Congress and approved an emergency sale of weapons to Israel. Total cost, over $150 million. Traveling with the president in St. Croix, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
In his final address for the year, Pope Francis recalled a year scarred by war. The pontiff delivered his traditional Sunday blessing from a window overlooking St. Peter's Square. Francis offered prayers for what he refers to as the tormented Ukrainian people and the Palestinian and Israeli populations, the Sudanese people, and many others. Speaking at the end of his weekly noon blessing, Francis said the faithful feel so much love, so much gratitude, so much admiration for the late Pope Benedict, who died last year on New Year's Eve. Still ahead, it's been a big year for streaming services and they're cashing in. We'll take a look at which streaming services hiked up their prices in 2023.
Welcome back. After a cloudy and cold day, that's how we're wrapping up 2023 here in the 4 states. At least it feels like winter and everything else out there, and it's going to feel like January come tomorrow. Skywatch Storm Tracker earlier today showing us all of those clouds, some of them relatively thick at times out there, so no sunshine, and that kept our temperatures relatively cold. In fact, we were upwards of 20 some odd degrees colder today than we were yesterday. As we mentioned earlier, we made it into the low 50s. Today, we're not going to make it out of the mid 30s. And we've got the cloud cover across the area, and that will eventually begin to clear out later tonight into early tomorrow morning. So initially, we'll be mostly cloudy through the evening as you kick off 2024. But by sunrise tomorrow, we'll start to see some clearing out there. Still partly to mostly cloudy skies and temperatures cold for sure. But that's the thing on the future track, no precipitation to show us, just the occasional cloud cover. Now, we're going to be a bit sunnier for us on our Monday across the area, and temperatures will be a little bit better, a little closer to average, but still not too terribly warm. We'll again have a few passing clouds here and there as we go into our Tuesday. Another cold one Monday night for us, but as we head into our Tuesday, we will eventually start to warm up just a little bit. MoDOT camera I-44 and range line earlier today. Again, cloudy skies out there, but at least the roads are dry if you're traveling or doing anything like that for New Year's Eve tonight. And of course, make sure you do so safely as you ring in the new year. Again, our camera on the Cornell complex earlier showing the cloudy skies, breezy conditions, and same from the KDOT camera this afternoon as well, just south of Pittsburgh. So for tonight, again, low 20s out there, gradually clearing. And even with a light north breeze, we're still going to have those wind chills falling back into the teens. So if you are celebrating tonight, make sure you bundle up because it is going to be cold. Not a lot of warming taking place tomorrow, but we will eventually get a little more sunshine, holding on to north breeze at 5 to 10 as our highs go into the upper 30s. Monday night, we're looking a little bit better, a little closer to normal again, 30, in fact, a little above normal. Mostly clear skies, and the wind shifts out of the south on us after it calms down a bit, starts going at about 5 to 10 miles an hour, and that's what's going to help bring in slightly warmer temperatures as we head through the rest of the first week of 2024. 45 for us on Tuesday, mostly clear skies out there, southwest breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. And as we go through that first week of 2024, this is what we're looking at. Again, we're talking Monday, Tuesday, looking pretty good. In fact, we're going to have mostly sunny skies, it's looking like, through at least Thursday. Temperatures, not too bad, right about where they should be as we hang out in the mid-40s. Overnight lows a little milder than where they should be, not that anyone's complaining. Friday, we start to see an increase in clouds, and we could see a few showers in the morning by next Saturday, but take a look at those temperatures as they go back up near 50 degrees by next Saturday, so it's going to feel like shorts weather by next weekend. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, it has been 4 months since the deadly wildfires ripped through Maui, and things are proving to be difficult as officials look to resume the island's tourism economy. Hawaii's governor asked tourists to return to the island after the August 8th wildfires that killed at least 100 people and destroyed more than 2,000 structures. The historic town of Lahaina is still recovering. Certain areas are off limits except to residents. Some say a return in the tourism industry could be a punch in the gut to those still living on the island who haven't gotten their needs met yet. Coming up in sports, the Kansas City Chiefs look to clinch a spot in the playoffs. Plus, Missouri Southern women's basketball plays in their final game of 2023. Brock Baldridge joins us with the highlights and more up next.
The Kansas City Chiefs have been on the struggle bus this past month. The Chiefs have only won one game in the month of December, and now they have a date with the Cincinnati Bengals at Arrowhead for New Year's Eve. Chiefs versus Bengals, a win for Kansas City would clinch the division. Starting off things in the first quarter, Patrick Mahomes drops back and he finds a wide open Isaiah Pacheco in the end zone. Kansas City leads things 7-3. So in the second quarter, Bengals are on the move. Jake Browning connects with Joe Mixon, who scores the touchdown there. Bengals regain the lead, Cincy up 10-7. So to the third quarter, Bengals lead 17-16. Patrick Mahomes is going to air it out to Rashee Rice, takes it for a 68-yard gain. That eventually leads to a Chiefs field goal. Kansas City goes up 19-17. Chiefs fans are just happy a receiver caught the football. So we head to the fourth quarter. Taylor is getting loud there. Just over a minute to go. It's 4th and 27. Browning throws this one deep to double coverage, and it is incomplete. Kansas City defeats their Cincinnati foes 25-17, and the Chiefs win the AFC West Division for the 16th time in franchise history.
What a game, and our fans were unbelievable, loud. They started the New Year's early, I think, but it was impressive. I was very proud of our coaches, the offense and defensive coaches, special teams. Everybody contributed in this thing, which I think was great. And as you saw, nobody gave up hope. I mean, it wasn't the smoothest early, but the guys battled through.
Well, one of the best local high school softball players in the 4 states announces that she has made her college commitment to play at the next level. The 2023 COC Softball Player of the Year is headed to the MIAA. Carly Kennard of Neosho announced earlier this week that she plans to take her softball talents to Central Oklahoma following her high school career. Kennard comes off her junior season where she was named COC Player of the Year. One of the big reasons Carly picked UCO was the hopes to one day compete and win for a national championship.
It excites me that it's a new town. I've always lived in Neosho, so I wanted to go explore somewhere new, and it's a very nice town from everything that I've heard, and it's very pretty. My main thing about UCO was the coaches. I connected with them very easily, and we've been talking for a long time, and we just had a very good connection, and then are their top tier D2 team, and I'm excited to get there and go win some national championships with them.
Over to women's college hoops. The Missouri Southern Lions were originally supposed to play this game a couple weeks ago, but after rescheduling, MSSU, well, they wrap up their final game of 2023. Missouri Southern versus the number 18th ranked Drury Panthers. We pick things up in the third quarter. Chrislyn Jones drives into the paint and fakes out the defender here and makes the bucket. Lions lead by 15 points. Very next possession, Maggie Saki finds some space here and hits the open baseline shot. Missouri Southern goes up by 17. Later in that quarter, Chrislyn Jones again driving hard into the paint. She makes a really tough layup here. Jones finished with a team-high 18 points in this one. So still in the third, Drury is going to lose the handle on the ball here, and Caitlin Honeycutt picks it up and finishes the layup on the other end. Missouri Southern upsets number 18 Drury 80-57. The Lions have now won their 5th straight game. So Lions won 5 straight. The Lady Gorillas yesterday have won 5 straight.
Wow.
And guess who plays each other next week? Lions and Gorillas, 1:30 in Pittsburgh. It's going to be one heck of a game.
That'll be one heck of a game. And what a great upset for them, too. Just way to go out, knock out the new year.
Yeah, absolutely. And also the Chiefs, 8 straight AFC West titles.
Congrats to them. All right, we'll be right back at this with more news right after this. Older, wiser, and wealthier Americans over 55 now own 72% of the nation's wealth, as people under 55 see stagnant growth. Fox's Jerry Willis has more.
Being older and wiser now means being richer. Americans over 55 now own 72% of the nation's wealth, as people under 55 see stagnant growth. That according to a Federal Reserve study. Here are the numbers. Households aged 70 and over own 30% of the nation's wealth, while those aged 55 to 69 own 42%. Together, this is 46.7% of the nation's households, but over 72% of the booty. Meanwhile, the 25% of American households aged 40 to 54 own just 20% of the nation's wealth, while folks under 40 get under 7%. Together, these two groups are 53.3% of all households, but just 27% of the wealth. To be sure, the strong stock market and rising housing valuations post-COVID helped older Americans, but they have also had decades to reap the rewards of stock investment and home ownership. Listen.
Young persons who haven't had the time to save money and to buy a home, they are not seeing that same kind of increase in wealth. But existing homeowners, it has been an absolute boon for them.
Younger Americans are facing major headwinds: high college costs, high interest rates, high housing prices. But it's not like boomers had it easy. The average boomer has faced 6 recessions and 4 major bear markets. In New York, Jerry Willis, Fox Business.
Your streaming entertainment options broadened in 2023, but to avoid one type of interruption, you paid more for it. Key streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, Apple TV Plus, and many more raised their prices or made subscription changes in order to get ad-free content. One report says Netflix increased basic and premium plans by $3. Hulu, Disney Plus, and Apple TV Plus also went up by $3, while Paramount Plus raised its subscription price by only $2. One financial expert says prices will continue rising until subscribers leave the platforms. Up next, a restaurant in Oklahoma sees their business booming after their restaurant goes viral. An Oklahoma restaurant owner is experiencing the benefits of social media firsthand after a viral post brought in droves of customers. Colby Terrell introduces us to the owner of Spiral's Hot Dogs and more.
It's been a roller coaster ride for sure. We've had some people on Facebook tell us that they're coming in from like Colorado or East Texas or someplace like that.
A Norman restaurant owner has seen a week's worth of business in one day after this social media post went viral.
He came in on his group and he saw me walking around and he's like, man, what's going on? I said, I'm just waiting for my customers.
For the last 4 years, Spiral's sales have been up and down, especially starting in the pandemic. They sell specialty hot dogs, and now that business is booming, people can't get enough.
Every hot dog is named after my family. Every bowl has a family signature to it.
The customer who made the post tells us he never expected it to take off, but he's happy to see the owner getting tons of business.
And the next thing you know, all of Oklahoma City, Norman, and more have decided to come out and say hello.
Now, thanks to the post, he's on the social media train and is grateful for all the business.
It makes you a believer in social media for sure. Would love nothing more than to have this kind of traffic every day.
Miraculously, they only ran out of one sauce when the long lines hit their doorstep, and he says it's been great to see the response from the community.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll leave you with a video of crowds celebrating the new year with fireworks over Victoria Harbor in Hong Kong. We'll see you back here next time. Thanks for making us part of your night and have a happy new year.